Hello and welcome back to Wario Land 4. Now, right off the bat, I want to address some flack I received in the last episode about my comments and critiques of capitalism. The main one, of course, being, isn't Wario a capitalist? And while that is the most obvious solution, it isn't correct. Because, I mean, I get it. Wario's mean, he's greedy, and he only cares about numero uno being Wario, which makes sense. He is number one, that is fair. But a scholar would be able to tell you that Wario is in fact an anarchist, and this is pretty easy to see. He takes from the rich, undermining the upper class, the Super Mario, but he doesn't discriminate from the lower class. Just because you're a pirate, a lowly pirate, breaking into his castle and stealing his money doesn't mean he's gonna chase you down and beat you up, regardless of where you go. Magic temples, scary mansions, whatever, he'll do it. He also can breathe in space, complete anarchy. But a true scholar would be able to tell you that Wario is unaware that governments or larger systems at all are in place, period, which probably coattails into anarchy pretty nicely. But hey, that's that. Today we're going to be playing 40 below fridge, which is fridge is a new unit of measurement for just how dang cold it is, I guess. So 40 below fridge is a very interesting ice cold level in that it has a unique flavor to it. When I think ice levels, the first things I think of are like a snowy field. And actually, is that a breakable block? No, it is not. It's just flavor. The first things I think of are like snowy fields or an icy cave or the top of a cold mountain. But this is just literally a cold storage, just a big refrigerator where I'm assuming like meats or something are kept. And it's just a nice flavor that you don't see too terribly often, like in video games. Like, not to say this is the only game with a cold storage in it, obviously, but you know, it's a nice change of pace from like, and that went spectacularly wrong. But hey, I guess I wanted to break that block, so it all worked out. It's just a nice little flavoring that you don't see very often, and we're going to be seeing some neat new mechanics, and I'll talk about that in a second. So this is a Yeti. I actually don't know what it's called. He hits you with an ice beam, and you become Frozen Wario, and Frozen Wario is very simple. You just slip backwards until you hit something. There's a little bit more to it, but we'll talk about it as we go on. And we immediately have another transformation. That took a while for us to hit a Snowman Wario. So Snowman Wario is an interesting transformation. Once you hit an incline, Wario will start to roll out of control and can break snowball blocks. But he also, before you become a snowball, you're essentially Fat Wario. So it's kind of a dual transformation. It's neat and interesting and cool. Cool because it's cold, ha ha ha. Also, this level is neat because whenever there's ice and Wario slips, you get the kind of sound effect of slipping. It's a weird slipping sound effect, but it's nice that it kind of adds a bit of a immediate more response than just, oh, why isn't my character stopping? Also, the icicles as they fall have a noise, so you can kind of tell when something's happening by noise. Well, not by noise alone, because you wouldn't know where it's falling, but it adds some nice extra responses to it to know like things are going on. It's nice and cool, and I like it. And let's go ahead and just take the money from that spearman, so we can continue onwards. This room's a little bit weird. It's just kind of like a super simple, not even a maze, because these pathways don't loop around for the most part. Like two of them connect. But really, this is just like a choose the correct path kind of thing. So there's not really much interesting here to say, other than that there are like, oh hey, here's this like crouching arrangement you have to go through. And there's also a purple pipe puzzle room down here, I guess. I guess that's interesting. Not to like, rag on it like, oh hey, this room's bad or anything. It's just not really anything special with it. This purple pipe puzzle room is interesting because it has my friend, the glass ball bird, who's just a really just weird enemy. In fact, it kind of just looks like something that would have been made for like debugging purposes. It doesn't really look like a real thing, if you get what I mean. And I actually don't want to run down here because there's a lot of spearmen in here who will punish us if I just kind of run with reckless abandon. We would just kind of end up getting skewered by the spearman, and that would be bad for everyone involved. And I actually think this might not be the right way to go. I think this well, okay, that's not the right way to go. I was gonna say, I think that might be the way that leads us to the end. Because as we saw earlier, there's another pathway that we can go down, and I think we were, yeah, there we go. I was like, I could have sworn we saw the Keezer, and that might just be my memory kind of kicking in, because I knew the Keezer was in this room, and I couldn't remember if we saw it, and I started to say that, I was like, did we see the Keyser? I don't actually know. But there we go. We found the Keyser before we exited, which meant that we actually tackled that in a super optimal way. I started to remember it the wrong way, because I was like, oh, we're going to run... I thought the passageway that the Keyser was in would have led us to the exit. We were going to have to continue onwards, but it worked out all good in the hood. I accidentally did it in the most, like, I guess, efficient way to see everything. So it all worked out for the best. So this level's neat because, as you can see, we ended up right back where we were. This level has screen wrap to it, and it'll be used for some puzzle purposes, especially in this room right here. This room is actually just a big kind of screen wrap. I wouldn't say so much puzzle as it is arrangement. Oh yeah, that's a hidden area, isn't it? It's a good thing I was still in the habit of punching things, because I might have just totally forgotten that this was here if I didn't just go, oh, I should punch that. So that worked out for the best. The goal of this room is, you know, obviously there's a bunch of snowball blocks. We're going to want to find the best place to transform into Snowman Wario, and it's called Snowman Wario, not Snowball Wario, but I messed that up a bunch because, you know, you're more snowball than snowman, but Wario is all man, etc., etc., you know, machismo bullshit. Machismo? No one really knows the correct way to say it, so it's fine. Is there anything over here? Nope. Looks like we've explored the entire area. So now we just need to figure out where the best place to become Snowman Wario is. Because as you've seen, there's a bunch of snowball blocks, and off to the right of this room, if I can make this jump, I'm not sure if Fat Wario will be able to... Oh, okay, that wasn't as big of a gap as I thought it was. The end is just beyond there, and there's an incline here, but if we were to take this incline, we'd roll up into a snowball, and we would hit this ledge right here, ending the transformation. Because the transformation ends when we hit a wall, regardless of if it's a big wall or a small wall. So what you actually have to do is come to the very bottom of this room and utilize the screen wrap to make your way up to the top, back where we were, and just come back around. It's a neat little arrangement. I wouldn't say so much it's a puzzle, because really there's only so many... I mean, I guess it is a puzzle in that you have to figure out the right thing to do. It's not a very difficult puzzle, and I've been skipping all those hearts because we're full up on both hearts and our heart meter filled up. And I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but when your heart meter fills up, typically you just recover, but when you're already full health, it stays full. So if I were to get hit, it would act as like a 9th heart, I believe, like in that it would like immediately heal us. So Frozen Wario does serve another purpose other than just kind of being an annoying hindrance that makes you go slipping backwards. You can pass through obstacles that Wario normally couldn't get through, because normally those spikes, you know, Wario would have like hit them and been like ejected off of them, because you would have kind of like a pain recoil animation. So it's interesting in that way. It can be used for some things like that. Once again, you know, obstacles becoming beneficial, etc., etc. I ranted a lot about that last episode. I'll try to be better. Let's go ahead and kill these Yetis, because they're actually very interesting enemies, and that they're enemies that transform you that also drop spoils, which isn't a thing that you see too terribly often. I don't think... Actually, I'm going to go see if they respawn, because they probably don't respawn, because they drop spoils, even though they transform you. But I'm very curious, and I want to know, because most enemies who transform you don't drop spoils, and they also don't respawn, and as we've seen here, they don't. So it's good to know. Oops, I knocked my shin on my desk. It didn't hurt, but it made some noise, and I hope it wasn't too loud on the mic, because new mic, I don't know. No, new mic who this, I wanted to say it. You know, new mic, and I don't know its limitations yet. This room is interesting in that we have a bunch of snowball arrangements, but we also have a bunch of rolling arrangements, so it's kind of neat to see these two completely separate rolling mechanics be tied together in a single room. This room isn't utilizing the, you know, screen wrap, obviously, anymore. Are we going to see any more screen wrap? I actually don't remember how the rest of this level plays out. I think we might be done with screen wrap. The screen wrap's kind of like a sub-theme for this level. It's not really used all that often. But now we need to find the best way to exit this room, in which we're going to have to do some snowman platforming. Since we're Fat Wario, Wario doesn't have... Or we're not Fat Wario, but since we're essentially Fat Wario, Wario doesn't have as good of a jump anymore. And, oh, I guess it's good we didn't leave this room? I mean, I guess we... Oh, no, wait, this is the exit. We saw this earlier in the level. what we want to do is we want to hit this. So to leave the level, we're going to have to get here with Snowman Wario. To open that other way, we're going to have to get there with Snowman Wario. So that's a jump I'm going to have to make. That one looks like it could be a bit of a tricky jump. We don't want to exit this room because I have a gut feeling that exiting the room could make us end up landing on the frog switch. I feel it in my bones, and my knees have arthritis, so I can really feel things in my knees. So I feel it in my bones that we're going to end up landing on a frog switch because they love to do that, where they force you to land on the frog switch, and it's like a aha, gotcha moment. But there we go. We cleared out the room, and now we can go careening carelessly. I guess we aren't going into the frog switch. The frog switch is right here, but we didn't careen into it with reckless abandon like I thought we would. So that's nice, I suppose. Is there anything back here? Nope, just a snow that we could, I guess, come over here if we wanted the heart and then get hit with the snow and it would be bad. Oh, no, we definitely do need that snow. Okay, let's make our way back up there. Luckily the frog blocks open up in such a way that makes it easy to return to. That's really cool that you can actually get hit with the snow mid-air. Not like the stupid squishers. They can't squish you mid-air in this game anymore. You used to be able to jump into the squishers in Wario Land 2 and Wario Land 3, and it would squish you, even though, like, obviously it doesn't make sense to be squished mid-air. You do want to kill the Yetis as you're coming through here, because the Yetis are annoying, so they should die. No, that's actually a horrible thing to say. Those Yetis could be obstacles if we were to, for whatever reason, have to come back to this room. So you should kill these Yeti guys. Oh, that was really weird. I got hit. The way I hit that Yeti ended up making me, the way I hit that Yeti gave Wario, like, some recoil animation, and because that happened, in a way where Wario could fall, like, I fell without being able to control Wario, so he fell, like, straight to the bottom of that thing. Now, we could just exit the level, but as we see over there, there's that block that was stopping us from getting to the compact disc. And this is kind of an interesting little arrangement. And this is kind of a compact disc that makes you think, because this is one that I always go like, oh, have I screwed up? But no, this one's just a little weird to get to, because you have to come through this area first, and then you have to go back through it after you break the block. And there are some 50 coins that it could go pick up, but once again, it's out of the way, and we're not too worried about getting the best score ever in a Wario Land 4 run, because I doubt I'll be able to do that. Sure, like, someone has, like, some insanely high score from, like Super RNG or whatever, I don't know, maybe there's just a max amount of money you could get, and I legit almost ran for the Vortex without collecting the compact disc. You have to really be on, you have to keep your head on a swivel and not go into autopilot. Like, I basically am always just playing video games on autopilot. It's very rare that I'm, like, super, like, honed in on a game that I played before. It's just so much autopilot. It's just kind of relax and sit back and feel like a human being again. Thank you, video games. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. That little cry for help aside, we have completed 40 Below Fridge, and we can move on to the last level of the Ruby Passageway. They're called passages, but passageway isn't incorrect. It felt wrong to say, you know? And the last level is the Pinball Zone. Now, the Pinball Zone is an interesting level for a few reasons, and I'm gonna knock off the first one right off the bat. This level feels like it belongs more in the next set of passage. The Topaz Passage is based on, like, games and toys, and pinball feels like a better fit for games and toys and technology. I mean, it fits in technology. Pinballs are a technological marvel. They were revolutionary, you know, an electronic game. But, you know, it feels more in line with games than it does technology. And why is there the ability to roll here? Is there, like, a secret that I didn't know about? I don't think so. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's just a weird tilt in the thing to make it look nice. Yeah, because it kind of... I'm actually going to go back out there. It makes these two lines, like, parallel, kind of giving you a neat little thing to go through. And I just realized how much the background just kind of gives me, like, a like, debug zone, like, feel with all the, like, checkerboard patterns. Another neat thing about Pinball Zone, before we talk about this mechanic I'm currently interacting with, is that it has 3 purple pipe puzzle rooms as opposed to the normal 2. It's a really weird exception to the 2 pipe rule, even though, you know, there's the, like, exceptions of, like, the no pipe levels, like the Hall of Hieroglyphs and the last level both have no purple pipe puzzle rooms. So it's just weird that this one has 3. I don't know how that happened. Maybe the designers just made one extra one and then they just kind of rolled with it and put it in the game. Who knows? So yes, in Pinball Zone, believe it or not, we have to interact with pinballs. You find pinballs, you look for the pinball acceptors, and once you get all the pinballs and all the pinball acceptors, a door will open, or I guess a little like numbered gate. Whenever you throw the pinballs into the pinball things, they drop 50 coins, and whenever the gate opens, it drops a 500 coin, the golden coin. Yeah, I think that's 500. So you want to be careful if you want to get like as much money as possible, because if you were to, you know, kind of just play carelessly, you wouldn't be able to get all of the money, because, you know, like, oh, the 50 coins just kind of fell into the abyss. Oh, I didn't realize you could turn while doing the charge throw. That's actually super convenient for this, because if we were locked into one position, it could become kind of difficult to remember which way do I need to face to be able to move on. And I'm going to go ahead and go down. Is this our first purple pipe puzzle room for the place? Because like I said, there's 3 of them in this level. It's neat fun fact. Oh, and this one we have to light ourselves on fire. I probably should have looked at the level before lighting myself on fire, but it all worked out for the best, I suppose. Yeah, it worked out great because we did our 3-touch pass, ended up right at the fire block, and it was all good in the hood. I mean, granted, it wasn't very difficult, but I probably shouldn't have just run in with reckless abandon, with my first instinct being, I should light myself on fire. But hey, it worked out, so who cares? So another interesting thing about this level is it utilizes the breakable block thing, like that we kind of learned a little bit about in the toxic landfill from last episode. But it's interesting because the kind of tell for this level is, hey, there's something that you need to continue onwards. Like we saw in the other room, that was kind of our introduction to it for this level. We're introduced to things. I wanted to ground pound, but I forgot by pushing down on the D-pad I was going to drop the pinball. Whoops. We're introduced to it in a unique way. Like previously we would have tells like, oh, you have to go find, or you see a thing and you're like, how do I get to that? I guess it's still like that. We have a tell of, what's happening back there. How do I get to this this chest? Because the first tell for this level is, oh, there's a chest and you can't get to it. Oh, and it's interesting. On the other side of this room, there's a purple pipe puzzle room, and this kind of has like nice symmetry with that. That's cool and neat. Man, I'm very scatterbrained right now. We start seeing things that we couldn't get to unless we were able to break some blocks. So it's nice, and we have a nice little introduction to that with the chest, which there's no way to get to it, and that's one that I definitely know as a kid. I had to replay this level because I didn't get it, because I was like, oh, how do I get to that? I guess I can't, and then I just kind of moved on without exploring a bit more, well, I guess not exploring, I guess exploring my abilities as a human being. The human being Wario. Is Wario a human being? Is Mario a human? Are they humans? I'm not 100% sure about that. And this pinball isn't going where I wanted it to, because when you ground pound, there's a bit of a shock. But how this works is it's based on where you're ground pounding from. So now that I'm ground pounding from the right, it should be going to the left. I thought that was how it worked, but maybe it gets a bit confused if you do it from longer distances. And this, yeah, okay, yeah, I could have sworn that was breakable, especially since we could see there was stuff under here and no way to get to it. I wish that grabbing heart pieces when you were full up on hearts filled up your bar, but I guess the only way to do that is to accept the spoils of an enemy. Oops, that Apple Monkey almost got me, but luckily he didn't. You're gonna have to be a little bit faster than that Apple Monkey, and unfortunately I'm on a slow-moving platform, so that could have gone bad for me. Oh, hey, I thought earlier I did a ground pound and I was blaming me dropping the thing because I pushed down on the D-pad. I guess it was just because I was bad, because obviously you're not going to drop something when you ground pound. That'd be weird and bad, not good. Bad, not good. And do we have all the pinballs? Because I see the acceptor up here, but I don't see the pinball. Oh, it's literally the same arrangement we saw on the other side. I guess this room has a bunch of just, oh, did you realize ground pound like had a shockwave and made things move? Oops, and I heard that thing open. Let's go ahead and get up here. Yes, because that the numbered gates won't open until they get spawned into the game's like memory. So like you know, it didn't open immediately, even though we had opened all the pinballs. It wasn't until we got close to it, it made the unlock noise and actually opened. Will you just throw an apple, please? I mean, or preferably something that realistically makes more sense for Wario to become a little tubby boy, a little chubster whenever he eats. Like, it doesn't make any sense for him to eat an apple and become fat. I don't like that, not one bit. Is this our second purple pipe puzzle room, or is this our third? My brain isn't working great. It's a very bad brain. I'm sorry. Oh, we need to become Fat Wario to be able to hit this switch. Bit of a weird arrangement, but okay. Oh, I'm sure we've shown off Wario's amazing water idle animation, but just in case, I'm certain that we've done that before, but just in case, because I'd feel terrible if we went the entire playthrough without doing that. So what's showing it off one more time gonna hurt? Also, it's interesting, you know, another arrangement where you kill a bunch of enemies to get the bonus for the purple pipe puzzle room as opposed to the diamonds. I just always think it's neat when it happens, especially that one, because that's a very memorable one. If you were to be too slow swimming back there, all of the spoils from the Hari men would fall beneath that current, and you wouldn't be able to get to them. And I actually don't think they fall off the screen. I think they fall just far enough in the current that you can't make your way back to them, but they are still... they still are on screen to kind of taunt you. And oh, it was a good thing I came back. I was like, I feel like there's a bonus we missed here, and the bonus was the compact disc. So very good that we came back, even though, you know, I turned around the second I saw a bunch of pinballs and oh, the last thing. Cool. Let's keep moving on. And oop, that Yeti got me. I have no idea what those Yetis like proper name is. I feel like it's Yuki something, which makes me think it's like Yuki Onna. And then I just immediately started thinking about Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho. What a good boy that Kuwabara. God, what is his Yuki Onna girlfriend's name? I can't remember. I feel like I should remember his Yuki Onna girlfriend's name because he screams it a lot and it's very good. I can't remember the stupid Yeti's name. It's Yuki something because that probably has something to do with cold, but it's definitely not Yuki Onna because Yuki Onnas are their own creature and these are Yetis. So I'm just gonna keep calling them Yetis because they remind me of an abominable snowman-like thing, and I think an abominable snowman's a Yeti. I think they're one and the same. But you know, I'm a big like big dumb guy. I don't know anything. I barely know the things I do know. I barely know. Kind of sad, but that's okay. I've already made one cry for help this episode. Let's continue with minimal amounts of cries for help. Please. Oh, okay. Well, I was about to make a joke like I was about to make a cry for help, but this old man needs to cooperate with me. I just want to use him as a projectile. Nothing rough. And God, I love whenever things bounce off of Wario's tummy, it kind of jiggles a bit. It's a good little just subtle animation, and I messed that up bad. I remember doing this arrangement. This arrangement confused me the first time because I was like, how do I break these blocks? But you just got to throw Doctor, Professor, who knows really? I haven't seen his degree, so it's hard to say. I'm just gonna call him Dr. Aerostein. It's more polite. Even if he's a professor, I'm sure he wouldn't argue like, oh no, I'm not technically a doctor. I did that move a bunch in college where I was just like, I don't know if they're a professor or a doctor, so I'm just gonna call him a doctor because you know, I feel like very few professors would be like, no, I'm not actually a doctor. And my instinct for some reason was to go up to that Yeti and throw him in the thing, but that is not the arrangement we've been doing here. It's pinballs or bust. So let's take a pinball and let's bust. And hopefully not get hit by another Yeti. But yes, I did that move a lot in college, calling just basically anyone and I don't want to power throw that, I just want to normal throw that, and that went, okay, it could have gone worse, but that went pretty badly, and I just need to avoid this Yeti. Called a bunch of people doctor, and it went great until I met one person who had DR as their title, so I was like, oh, they're a doctor, and I called them doctor, and they're like, no, director, and I was like, oh, well, shit. My perfect plan has been foiled. And it was a perfect plan. No one had ever corrected me on that before, even though I was pretty sure I just called some professors doctor, but who knows. And maybe that's disrespectful to doctors, because it's like they've earned it, I suppose. I mean, they've earned it. Schooling is hard, and if you spend that much money, it makes sense to want to be called doctor, I guess. It is probably disrespectful to doctors who've, earned it, but hey. I was in college. It was rough, okay? I was doing my best, and why did we come out? What was the point in coming out here? I guess it was just to loop back around to the beginning of the area, if you needed to for whatever reason. I don't know why you would need to. Oh, I guess if you didn't have all of the jewel pieces, it's giving you one more chance to go back before you step on the frog switch and end, well, not end the level, but begin the post fold, I guess would be more correct. And as you see, 6 minutes is a pretty long timer.
So we're going to have a lot of stuff to do, and we don't need to be up here yet. We need to find a pinball first. I don't know why I bothered to come up here. Because we're going to continue on with our pinball games. It's Pinball Zone, so that's probably not a big surprise. Let's go ahead and take a bunch of pinballs over here. Because as we saw, we were going to need a bunch of pinballs at the top of this, not at the top, but back at the beginning of this level. And I just realized how good the robot graphics on the back of this, like, pinball board are. They're super good, and I never really paid too much attention to them, but hot damn, those are some good robots. I'm very into them. Something also that I would love to talk about, but it's not happening, is those weird antenna-looking things. Typically, in the post-fold, yeah, they start shooting electricity down, but for some reason they're not doing it. I'm not sure if there's some kind of weird requirement to make them do it. I thought it was once the post-fold started, they would start shooting electricity at us, but it seems very sporadic, and it seems to only be specific ones, even though, like, there's a bunch of them. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I guess it's similar to those guys who shoot these spikes. The spiked balls, those weird, like, faces that we saw, because not all of them shoot spiked balls. Like, here, I'm even standing under it. Maybe you just have to stand under it for a while for it to happen? No, I don't know what makes it do it. Who knows? But yes, the enemies that shoot the spiked balls that we had seen previously in this level, there's not really a good rhyme or reason why some shoot spike balls. Nope, I did not want to roll. I just wanted to continue on with this thing. So we'd be sure it wouldn't despawn from memory when we went off screen, because I don't know what they have, like, you know, what they set precedent on for, like, to not despawn and stuff. Who knows how those things work, because that's deep, like, programming junk, and I have no idea how they program this game. I do not want to disassemble the game, because that sounds like it'd be awful. I don't even know if that's possible to disassemble a compiled Game Boy Advance game. Like, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not that smart. I got my computer science degree, but I don't know things. I'm dumb. We've gone over this. Please, you guys know the score. I'm a dumbass. Speaking of dumbass, this is not doing what I want it to do. But yeah, so spike guys, some shoot spike balls down, some don't. I don't know the reason why some do it and some don't. It's a mystery to everyone, and let's go ahead and continue the mystery by not knowing why some of these shoot electricity and some don't. All I know is in the post-fold, some do it and some don't. And that's, you know, it's an unexplored mystery that we're just going to have to accept. It's a miracle of life why some things shoot not spike balls. Those are very clearly not spike balls. Those are electricity. I'm starting to get my concepts backwards, because the hurry up music's been going on too long, and actually started to, like, make me go, oh no, I need to panic and hurry up, even though we have 3 minutes. We have plenty of time. We're doing pretty good. Well, I say that I don't really have a measure of, like, weighing that against, and that was just kind of bad altogether on my part. I don't have a criteria to measure that against. It's just like, we still have half our time. I feel like we're doing pretty good. A good measure, a good thing to compare it against would be the times that we have to escape in higher difficulties. That'd be a good criteria to measure whether we're doing good on time, I suppose, in a very objective sense. But in a subjective sense, I feel like we're doing good on time. It's all good in the hood. I think that other coin despawned, but it's fine, because we're over the required amount. And where is the exit? Oh, it was to the right. Yeah, we saw it whenever we entered and we got those other pinballs. So I should have remembered that, but I was mixing it up with the past room. But that's fine, because we have everything, right? Yeah, we have all the collectibles. We're good. I am missing 3 hearts, which I don't think we're gonna find 3 hearts on the way out of here, but that's fine, because, you know, we have more money than we needed. We're good. And now we just get to roll on through the ball return, all the way back to the vortex. And the neat thing about this level is it forces you out of the vortex. You kind of just roll through and bonk your head. I mean, I guess you could, like, crawl through and maybe kind of finagle yourself in such a way that you don't hit it, but if you do it in the intended way, you roll out and you hit your head on the wall and it knocks you back into the vortex, and it's fun and good, and I like it. And then you get the best score ever in this video game, because I'm so good at this video game, even though it's just saying best score because, you know, previous to this, the best score was in fact 0. So making the best score wasn't, you know, the most difficult thing in the world. And with that, we have all of the jewel pieces. We've completed all the levels in the Ruby Passage, and we can face the boss. Minigame shop. Ooh. No, the boss is Cuckoo Condor. Or Cuckoo Condor? It always confuses me, because I think in Zelda they're Cuckoos. Because they're not Cuckoos. No, wait, they're Cuckoos. That's what they are in Zelda. But I think that word is pronounced cuckoo even though it has a K in it, but it's not cuckoo, I don't think. But that's enough of that. Let's get our free smile from the shopkeep. Work it indeed. So this boss is weak to the big fist, but once again, we're not going to be utilizing the items because I'm a chump and I want to do this legit. No items. We're gonna fight this guy face to face. Yeah, Cuckoo Condor is weak to the big fist. For a hot second, I was like, maybe that's not right, but it is right. We're all good in the hood. We can fight Cuckoo Condor, who, as we can see, is a condor. And there's a clock apparatus around something with weird eyes. This boss is maybe one of the easier bosses in the game. I mean, Spoiled Rotten's kind of a joke. But this boss is very simple, in which it just has this claw, and it's going to try and grab us and shift us. It's going to try and pick us up and move us into these, like, either rusty or bloody saw blades on either side of the map. And once you start dealing enough damage, you'll start dropping the saw blades from the right side and using that weird tuning fork to shoot electric saw blades, which are hilarious because they're mechanically basically the same as a saw blade. They even look like saw blades. But, you know, they're different. And once you hit it enough times, it goes into its second phase, which is interesting because this second phase is completely different. This is basically a different boss fight. It starts laying eggs at a alarming, might I say, pace, and you just got to pick them up and throw them. If the eggs land on the ground, they make a duck. And if you leave the duck alone for too long, it starts to flash and will explode and could hurt you. And the kind of difficulty that could come from this part is if it lays too many eggs, which as it starts going on further and further, you know, the rate of egg accelerates. And if you let too many eggs happen, you could be overrun by ducks or end up fighting off a bunch of ducks instead of fighting the boss like I was. But yes, this boss is very simple. Like, I got hit once, kind of due to carelessness, and there we go. We saw a duck explode. Nice. Let's just get back to hitting him. I'm spending too much time focusing on duck control instead of focusing on boss control, and my controller is also doing a bad job at registering which ways I'm pushing. Oop, nope, I caught that egg. And I'm doing a very bad job also hitting the boss with the eggs. As you see, this is kind of where the difficulty comes. If you're super good about catching the eggs and just immediately pegging the boss in the face with its own egg, you know, this boss is very simple, but if you get overrun, it can become quite hectic. And this honestly is probably the most trouble I've ever had with this boss, because I keep missing that stupid throw. It might be easier if you got in front of the boss. Oh my god, I am down to 2 hearts. This boss kicked my ass. Wow. And we're actually starting to run out of time, because once we hit the 1 minute mark, we're going to be in trouble. Oh my god, I could die against this boss that I just said was maybe the easiest one. Oh my god. This is very interesting. Oh, we died! We died against the super easy boss. Holy crap! Oh my god! That's amazing! I did not think we would die in this playthrough. But lo and behold, Cuckoo Condor showed that it bared its fangs and proved that it could be a difficult boss. Hello, cat. I do not care about you right now. I'll see you guys when we get to the second phase of the boss fight. Okay, there we go. Second phase of the boss fight. Let's not do this badly. Let's try and keep this boss under wraps, because as long as you don't let the boss, like, get away from you, this is a very simple boss. It's just a matter of controlling the amount of ducks on screen. And realistically, like, you don't really need to hunt down the ducks, because hunting down the ducks is where it goes wrong. The ducks will explode on their own. So if you just let them be and just stay chill, boys, you won't have any problem, I say, as there approaches 4 ducks on screen and a duck is rapidly approaching you. See, like, that's what happens. Like, you let the boss take advantage of you. You give it an inch, it takes a mile, etc., etc. Capitalism, you know, whatever, bad. Man, I've never had this kind of difficulty with this boss before. Normally, I just kind of stand behind this boss and just constantly grab its eggs and just peg it in the face. And normally, I pay attention to whenever there's a duck charging me. That also kind of helps. But I just keep missing the throw, because I normally just throw from that position, like, right behind it, but it keeps hitting my my egg that I'm throwing with the egg it's laying, and that just ends up creating 2 ducks, creating 2 problems. Luckily, the eggs will cancel each other out in the air, I suppose, so that works out. And there's a lot of ducks on screen, and he only needs 1 more hit. We have 3 more hearts, and I'm just gonna take a moment. I'm gonna calm down. There's a lot of ducks on screen. We still have 2 minutes to go, and he's just giving me an egg, and I'm going to approach him very carefully. There we go. That should be... There we go. Okay. I cannot believe Cuckoo Condor gave me difficulties, because that boss is so simple. Normally, I just stand behind him and just keep pegging him with his own eggs, and that normally doesn't become any problem at all, but for some reason, 2 times in a row, that boss just completely got away from me. It was crazy. But there we go. We've died to a boss, and it wasn't one of the 2 bosses that I thought it could possibly happen. Because like I mentioned, Cractus is a boss fight that I have a lot of difficulty with. Well, not a lot of difficulty, but, you know, I die against Cractus sometimes. But I've also, you know, played this game on higher difficulty, so I'm imagining, you know, the higher difficulty versions of that boss fight. Oh, hey, once you beat the Ruby passage, Dr. Stein comes out. I don't know if these are completely randomized, the patterns of, like, your friends being out here, or if it's driven by how many passages you complete. I've never really paid enough attention to this starting map screen for that, but hey, Dr. Stein's here, and he wasn't here previously. There is another boss in this game that I have some difficulty with, and higher difficulties because of fighting them improperly, and maybe we'll talk about that later. But for now, we're done with the Ruby passage. In the next episode, we're going to continue onwards to we'll continue on to the Topaz passage. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw, and if you didn't, I apologize. Goodbye.